Good afternoon. Good to see some common faces here today and some new faces, suppliers, fans and everyone who has followed the Volvo Ocean Race. Thanks for joining me. Today I just want to chat to you all about what we saw during the last race, what we think we're going to change for the next race, how the boatyard worked and how we think we're going to innovate and keep moving forward with the Volvo Ocean Race. The main theme today, and this is a challenge to all the suppliers that are here, it's not about the boat. It's about the people that sail the boat. It's about getting the boat from A to B, but to be able to say that, the boat has to be 100% reliable. And this was what I was tasked with before the last race to do, to ensure that these boats were 100% reliable. And fortunately there were a few little incidents that we all know about, but we did get there and we created something that was very reliable. Just a few facts and figures from the last race, which you'll all find quite interesting. 70,000 corporate guests were part of the Volvo Ocean Race, the biggest in the world. 2.4 million people visited the race villages around the world, which is extremely significant. I think the second biggest event in the world behind the FIFA World Cup. 50 million views of YouTube and Facebook videos. 1.2 million Facebook followers. And 6 of the 7 teams competing in the race won a leg, which has never been seen before. The race itself, we went from Alicante to Cape Town to the Middle East, through to China, down to Auckland, Itajaí, Newport, Lisbon, Lorient, The Hague and Gothenburg. So it was obviously a truly global event. We don't see too much change into the next race, but we'll have a look at the future race course shortly. And then of course, this was one of the most significant
straight line
times of the race.
Then, an impact, a reef. 9 guys fight for their survival.
Basically, we hit something. I don't know if I was knocked unconscious. I don't know whether something happened, and then within 10 seconds or so, there was all this crashing and grinding and stuff. At that point, I knew the ship was really hitting the fan. Seriously bad impacts were happening.
Holy shit, I can't believe this. I can't actually fucking believe this is happening. Okay, so it's, I don't know what time it is usually. We just hit the reef. I was in the heads. Fucking frightening enough.
I didn't know at that point how much time we had left, you know. This is probably 10 minutes, the water's still coming in, and yeah, I was just like, crap, you know, this isn't good. Nico kept going over how we're going to get off this, and every time the boat shifted on a reef, we reassessed the situation. This constantly went on for hours.
6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. I think the man that saved the space for us is still here on the boat.
We stayed with the boat right up until the end. And then we waited in the life raft, and Nico was like, keep an eye out for sharks, because there was sharks. You know, no one was injured, a couple of scrapes, a couple of bruises, that was it. I don't know how with the force we hit, managed to get away. Yeah, man, I'll tell you, Nico's, he one hell of a skipper, that's for sure.
I thought I'd just play that clip, as that was, as I was saying, one of the most significant events in the race, and which created, well, the biggest disaster, created one of the biggest comebacks in the race. And it's going to be talked about for a long time. These boys certainly were in trouble. I mean, it wasn't just a reef, it's an island. There's no doubt about that. So it was a human error. But it was one of those incidents that took place, that assembled, we got a team together, we assembled the team, we rebuilt a boat in 4 months, normally taking 8 months. with the great help from all the suppliers. I'm just looking around the room here and everyone was involved and everyone had buy-in to this situation to get Team Vestas back in the race. From that, we produced an independent report led by Chris Oxenbold, Stan Honey and Chuck Hawley, who have now given us some views and given us some ideas on different areas and different things that we can implement for the next race. And that will be happening more from a race management point of view. So it was true, we needed to reduce the budgets. We needed to get boats on the start line. It was a big call, but someone had to make it, and Knut Frostad made the call, the CEO. We're going one design. And that was what was needed to ensure that this race remained sustainable. Just taking a quick look there, there's the average budgets of races gone past, quite significant, and then the winning budgets, of course. It truly was a race, if you had the highest budget, you were going to win the race. And what we wanted to introduce is to produce a boat, produce a race that wasn't necessarily won because you had the best money. And I say the Boatyard, I often say we reduce the financial performance gain. So it all comes down to the people, and it helps everyone here, all the fans, relate to what's going on out there. And it also provides a safer base for the stakeholders, for the sponsors. If your boat's going to start the race, there's a fair chance it's going to make it to the next port. And then we moved into the budget for this event down to average cost around 12 million. So it was something that was needed, and we're going to continue to strive to keep those budgets as low as we can to get as many teams in the race as we can. When we designed the boat, it was important to, there's 4 main elements the boat was designed around. One being high performance, which is pretty close to my heart, having sailed in the race previously. The next is durability, reliability, safety. We needed to ensure that if you started the leg, you finished the leg. The predecessor, the Volvo 70, on the first night out of Alicante, 2 boats were out. It ended up being 3 boats arriving in Cape Town on a ship. Actually, I see GAC here, they maybe wanted that contract for that race, but there was a lot of shipping going on. High quality media content. The boat was almost launched around a camera. Launched around making it easy for everyone to get involved in the race in the best possible manner. And of course, cost efficiency, return on investment. We're now setting up to get sail in the 2nd edition of the race. The Volvo 70s, there were a few that did continue on, but they didn't have much of a life left after that. But these boats certainly have a life. We could afford to go a lot stronger with the boats, with all elements, with the hulls, with the sails, with the mast, to ensure that we could get these boats sailing in another edition of the race. And who knows what the future brings, whether it's a 3rd edition or not. So the Boatyard, just quickly about that, as Ed was saying, it's your one-stop shop. Most people here have actually been involved as part of the Boatyard and seen it in action. Around 15 full-time people, up to 60 people at times. This is a photo from Auckland during the stopover. So we had quite a significant team. And these are all experts in their field. They are the best technicians that you can find, that money can buy. But what we did is allowed all the teams access to those people. So we allowed, once again, your boat is back on the start line in the best condition. You have everything from deck gear, from Harkin, I mean, a lot of suppliers here, Harkin, Spinlock, Winmark, engineering, Volvo, Penta, were fully involved. Rigging, this was an area which had not been done before. It had been done, but not successfully. And we're fortunate enough to work with some great suppliers in Maffioli and Offshore Rigging Services to ensure that all the ropes on board were 100% with minimum failure, to ensure that your boat starts the leg, gets to the other side. Sail making, of course. Boat building. Power management. I see some guys here from Mastervolt. This is another significant area. I mean, to get all this information off of the boats, we first of all need to get the power and harness that power to enable to send all the information back to all the fans, to all the stakeholders to know what's going on. Then of course we have electronics through Diverse, Cobham, Livewire. We have all sorts of areas. There are other suppliers, Ocean Safety. I think almost every single supplier that was involved in the Volvo Ocean 65 is here at METS. This is why it's such a great show, and it's something we want to work with in the future to almost develop our own small trade show with the experts in their field. NDT is another area that we worked on. And this is just a little snapshot of what was tested throughout the race and the detail we went into to ensure, once again, if you start the leg, you finish the leg. So I think it was almost 300 singular parts were tested, every single leg. And if you compared that to the Volvo 70 chart, it's a whole different kettle of fish. So it did make our job a little bit easier having strong boats. Just on the NDT, for the next race, we're going to do a lot of validation tests. We're going to test dagger boards, masts, rudders to ensure that not only do you start the leg, but as soon as the boat comes out of the refit period, which I'll go into, your boat is at 100% ready to go with minimal failures. So the boatyard, for me, I wanted to create a family, wanted to bring that back into the race. And that's done through collaboration, it's done through buy-in. And we wanted to use us as the stepping stone in between the management of the Volvo Ocean Race, the teams involved in the race, the ports involved, and of course, everyone here today, the suppliers. And I think we've achieved that, and we're only going to keep refining that and keep using the best suppliers in the industry. We're going to keep talking with the best ports. We're going to keep building our family. On to collaboration. This is something that I see Bruno over here from Dongfeng, this in Ushuaia, that's the insurance that was from the race. It was difficult to even find someone who was going to insure a boat, let alone a boat with a tagline, life at the extreme. So by telling the insurance companies and showing them what we were doing, working with the suppliers, they knew that their risk was quite a lot lower. We had a few large incidents, so I don't think they went terribly well out of it during this race, but they're definitely on board. They're definitely on board for the next race, and this is just one example of the collaboration. One example of industry realising what we've put together is only better for the race. Another thing we like to promote also is growth within the industry. This is just a little snapshot of Dr. Sales, for example. They're a small startup company. We took them on board, we recognised how good their product was and allowed access to that from the teams. Another big one is Composite Patch. This is another area that we thought it was such a good product, we need to get it out there. So if anyone's out there who has some really good ideas that wants to be involved in the race, we definitely got open ears. So moving forward, the boats are here to stay. The Volvo Ocean Race is happening in 2017, and the boatyard is going to keep working. What I want, at the moment we have all boats in storage bar one, who Team Brunel will be starting the Ark on Sunday and doing a Caribbean circuit next year, but the rest of the boats are in storage. Next summer, well, going from Q2 next year, we'd like to set up a summer training base to give the teams the best opportunity, and we want to support that, being the boatyard. From Q4 next year, we're going to do the upgrade on the boats. There are a few little items, but the reality is, and it's quite ironic standing in the innovation lab talking about a one design boat. There's not much that you really innovate, but of course the upgrade, we're going to change a few of the fundamental things on board, and we'll talk a little bit about innovation again shortly. set up another summer training base to enable, and this is when I think the teams will really start activating and start seeing and start getting the gains from sailing against each other, testing new sails, and this will happen directly after the upgrade that's going to take place. And then of course we have the race. And something else I want to talk about today before I go into more details is what we're doing here. We're going to launch a tiered partnership program within the boatyard. It was quite hard for suppliers to have access to the Volvo Ocean Race previously. But with the involvement now of the boatyard, we want to launch a tiered process that suppliers can be really involved. They can have access and designation rights to become an official race supplier, to become a boatyard race supplier. You can have access to image and content. This is a fine example of Mastervolt, how they were involved last race, by creating some slides on the website, giving them access via their website, allowing them access to use the Volvo Ocean Race in their activation in events like this. We have website, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, everything is out there, and it's only getting bigger. Digital TV, it's only getting bigger. So by being part of the boatyard, part of the race, everyone here can have more access and more exposure. This is just a snapshot of the cross section which came around the world. For those that went around the world, this was a half model, full size, with 500,000 people coming through it. So that 20% of the people that were on site came inside this. So this is another great opportunity for the suppliers that are here to get involved with, to showcase their products. We'll develop a t-shirt range that suppliers can get involved with to be, once again, fully part of the Volvo Ocean Race. And then of course we can do brand endorsements, VIP tours, and hold hospitality and events. The boatyard's a 1,200 square metre facility that, when it's in use, is full noise getting the boats back on the water. But when the boats are back on the water, there's a great opportunity for suppliers, stakeholders to use this facility to hold conferences, to hold hospitality events. So I've got all the details to this for those that are interested. I spoke to most of you during this week, and I have spoke previously, but this is something we really want to take off. We want to drag the best people in the industry together and give them the opportunity to use the Volvo Ocean Race and use the boatyard as a stepping stone to promote their products, to promote their company. So the boats, what are we going to do to the boats? Well, they're one design. We're not going to do much. We're going to change some fundamental things, some items that weren't quite there, that weren't quite 100% for the race. We're going to try and reduce the weight out of the boats without jeopardising the reliability. So reliability is the #1 key. Performance definitely sits below reliability because we want the boats to get from port to port. One area we are going to introduce is alternative energy. What we do want is use this race, make an environmental statement and use, whether it be hydro, solar, wind, we're unsure yet, but we're working towards coming up with the best solution. Unfortunately, this is an area that always gets left to the last minute and never really comes up with the right solution. But what we do know is that Volvo Ocean 65 is competing in the next race. We have enough time up our sleeves now to ensure that we get it right. And hopefully that paves the way. Just another feature here is, here's a video of every single navigator, every single skipper glued to the screen watching the AIS, which essentially created a wolf pack around the world. These boats just sailed within 20 miles of each other around the world, and being a sailor, it was a little bit boring. But until they arrived in port, they left and they arrived, and that was the exciting parts, but in the middle they all followed around. So we're working towards to maybe filtering out the actual race boats themselves so they can't actually see where the other boats are, which might create a bit more interest. I think the leg from Lorient into The Hague, where there are a lot of shipping zones where the boats couldn't go, caused the biggest split in the fleet up the English Channel in the whole race. And it was probably one of the most interesting legs to see who was going to come out in front. So this is something we want to introduce, just to try and get more engagement. The next race, we have secured 7 ports. So innovation, when I got asked to come here today, it was a bit of a challenge, to tell you the truth, and what exactly is innovation. And this little slide here is what I think it is. It's basically stuck here in the middle between technology and creativity. Technology is moving at such a pace, we need to harness that and use it to the best of our advantage to ensure that everyone here gets fully engaged. So this is just looking at a few numbers of the gigabytes of information that came off the boats. Almost 80,000 gigabytes came off the boats during the last race. 45,000 the race before. So next race, I think we're in for a lot of streaming, a lot of data coming off these boats. From live X calls, from live Skype calls. It's almost going to be a race of Big Brother proportions. I'm not sure if we'll be running 24/7, but that may not be too far around the corner. This all happens via Inmarsat, via Cobham, who are big partners of the race. And everything streams back to our race headquarters. So this is another challenge with all this information coming back. We need to upgrade as well. But we need to stay on this. We need to be part of it. We need to ensure that the technology is harnessed and we use it to the best of our advantage. Drones. This is something that came into the race. Quite controversial at the time, but we thought it was one of the best things at the time. There was images coming off of the boats that had never been seen before. In the middle of an ocean where no helicopter has any access to, you can launch your drone off the boat. Sam Greenfield, who was the mastermind behind this, the media crew member on Dongfeng, was the first to do it. And it was quite evident that this was the thing to do. He lost a few, there's no doubt about it. So next race, who knows, we might have a little pad on the back of the boat where they can come in and land. But this is moving so fast in the right direction that may not be out of the realm of possibility. We may have a little drone pad off the back of the boat that they can hone into and land. I think at the moment you can challenge to, the drone can do about, or be used in up to 18 knots of breeze in this particular conditions here. But I think it wasn't long after this that one of them went in the piss. So we might need a drone sponsor. 360-degree cameras. This is something else we're looking at. This is, imagine this on top of the rig, looking down, and you can get these images all the time, live streaming off of the boat. This would be something that we need to harness and we need to use. This is just a few things from the race, and this is the Oculus Rift that they use to actually look around within the 360 camera and using the advantage of that. Here's just a few more images of what that can do. Biometrics. I see here we have some from the Garmin team. This is just a snapshot from a run that I did not long ago. But this is something we also want to do. We want the public to relate to this race as much as possible. We almost want this stuff to come live off of the boat. We know how long someone's on deck, how long someone's below deck. We know their hours slept. So we can really start analysing what the teams, how it's going to, who is in a good position, who's in a strong position coming into the finish. The temperature, and this can also be used from a doctor's point of view to know exactly what's going on board as well. calories burnt. It's just another piece that people from land, via the website, via the app, can really relate to and can be involved with. So innovation to us is harnessing the technology, using the technology, and making sure we're not behind the 8 ball. Innovation's not about making the boat go faster. We are going to make the boat get to each port as reliable as possible. We're going to keep working on the collaboration that the boatyard has brought into the industry, and we're starting to see it filter out into other events around the world. And this is something that we're all pretty proud of, being part of the boatyard, that what we've developed, and we're pretty proud that we're now seeing it used in the industry as a whole. We also, as I was saying, want to develop this trade practice within, because I believe we have every supplier involved in the boatyard is the best. And if we can produce a premium trade event, this is just another element that is only going to filter out and filter down into the rest of the sport. And that's what we all want. We want to keep yachting moving forward, and we want to keep innovating. So thank you very much. Thanks for all coming. There's going to be more details, exactly what's going on, and we'll make sure that that's all available. But the race is for you. It's out there for the suppliers, the stakeholders, the public, to get fully involved, to get fully behind, and to be 100% Volvo Ocean Race. Thank you.
It's over the beaches from now on.